That would be kind of
So hey everybody, welcome to AppasaurusRex. We are reviewing for this particular, I would say week, but we don't really necessarily do them every week. So this review that you're watching right now, this is the Vivaldi browser, web browser. I don't know that it is out of beta yet. Did it seem like it was out? Like, is it a stable build? Because I was trying it when it was like basically not even really alpha testing. It was like a year or so ago. So is it like a?
I think it is. This morning when I was doing some additional tests on it, I got a notification that the newest version is available. So,
oh, interesting. Okay, so anyway, I got off on a little bit of a tangent right out of the gate, so I apologize. But basically, we're reviewing Vivaldi, and it's a web browser. I'm going to be honest, it's not a new app to me. I have been using it on and off for probably at least a year, and I can't wait to show you some of the things. Anyway, my name is Stacy Kildal, and I own and operate Kildal Services, and I created Stacy K Academy. So Kildal Services is my bookkeeping company. Stacy K Academy, I help teach other accounting professionals how to do what we do at Kildal Services. My app reviewing partner for this review is, well, Richard, just introduce yourself.
I'm Richard Ropa, Quasar Cowboy Consulting, and I also am an educator at Stacy K Academy, where we're finishing our week 6 of our Smarketing session this Thursday.
And so today, the day that we're recording this is actually October 3rd, 2016. So if you're watching this a month from now, that session is going to be all done and over with, but don't worry. We have lots of webinars coming up. We have lots of other stuff coming up at Stacy K Academy. So anyway, Vivaldi, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. So this is something that I was pretty excited to show. And you know what? Hang on one second, because it's not letting me choose just that particular app, which is very interesting, because usually Zoom lets you, when you do a screen share, it lets you choose just that app, and it's not recognizing that as an app. So sometimes it'll say, hey, do you want to just share out this Chrome? So now I need to share out basically like my entire desktop.
Would you like me to share my screen? And
no, I got it. So I just wanted to make sure you know, that I didn't have anything on my screen that maybe shouldn't be seen. Not that I would have, but I mean, you know, like personal email or something like that. So basically this is Vivaldi. And if you just go to Vivaldi.com, like Vivaldi, like the composer, right? So it's a really cool app, and you can go download it. You can go try it now. And if you scroll down, this is the website. You'll note one thing that I want to point out here. You'll note the URL is not at the top of the screen. I have customized my Vivaldi so that my URL is at the bottom of the screen, so that I have a little more real estate at the top. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of like bars at the top. I don't know if any of you guys have kind of maybe older parents who still have maybe AOL or maybe a Lycos account. And so a lot of times they'll install like every toolbar possible. And so it takes up half of the browser. I've never been a big fan of having a bunch of browsers at the top. So one of the things that I was really excited about with Vivaldi was being able to push that to the bottom. So this is the website, and this is where you're going to go download, and you can, the customization, this is the thing about Vivaldi that I really like a lot. I mean, we can customize Chrome to a certain extent, but usually that involves downloading a theme or adding a Chrome extension. But with Vivaldi, there's a lot of really cool tools. So this is kind of going to be a long review, because I'm not going to lie, we both are sort of in love with this app. I already know that because we have chatted a little bit before this review. So this is the website. And you can download, like it recognizes that I have a Mac, so if you see down here, it says download Vivaldi for Mac. I don't have to do that because we're viewing this in Vivaldi. This is the browser that I'm using. So our first category, and we may be changing this category because I don't know that it necessarily always applies to every single app or every single thing that we review. But the first category is collaboration. So I am giving this a dinosaur. And the reason why I'm giving this a dinosaur is because even though it's not necessarily true collaboration, right? So I can't customize, I can't do what I'm doing and then have you see what I'm doing unless we're doing a screen share. But what I can do is I can set up a bunch of bookmarks however I want, and I can export them and I can import them. So I could maybe set up some stuff for a client. I could set something up if I wanted Richard to see and look at what I'm looking. And so I can export and I can import that stuff. And the way that you do that, and it took me a little while, which we'll get to in a minute, is if you go to File and you can choose Export Bookmarks, or you can choose to import bookmarks and settings. So what I did was I took all of the AppasaurusRex bookmarks that I have set up in Chrome, and I exported them to an HTML file, and then I imported them into Vivaldi. And so you'll note, like, none of my bookmarks are up here at the top, and none of my bookmarks here are down at the bottom. I do have my URL, but down here at the bottom left, I have this little panel tab. It says Show Panel. This is, I think, the cool thing about, one of the cool things about Vivaldi. So if I say Show Panel and I go up to my bookmarks, here are all of those bookmarks that I have. So they're all right here at my fingertips. And, you know, because I'm in the Vivaldi page, I'm looking at Vivaldi right now. If I wanted to go to, you know, maybe my MailChimp account, I can just, you know, double click on that and it'll take me to MailChimp in whatever tab that I'm looking at. If I want to go to Zapier, take me right to Zapier. So all my bookmarks are right there, but I don't have to look at my bookmarks if I don't want to, which is the beauty of this. And so I can hide that panel. So I can give myself as much real estate as I need to. So basically I'm giving it for collaboration. I'm giving it a dinosaur. I'm going to stop talking about that and let you talk about it right now, Richard. I'm going to do that for you.
So actually, Stacy, I'm going to give on collaboration. I think that Vivaldi has, first off, I agree with you 100%. I love this tool, and I think it's life-altering for me. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But for collaboration, there's one very specific feature that I have just found today that really, really could be used very well for collaboration, and they missed the mark on it. And that is that's the notes feature. Making a note, because you can make a note on a website.
Do you want me to show the notes?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Okay, so what Richard is talking about is if you show the panel, and then you'll see there's bookmarks here, there's a tab for my downloads, and then there's notes. And what is so super badass, and it's actually one of my favorite things about this, I wish we had more than 5 categories, because one of my favorite things about this is I can create notes as I'm looking at that browser or that page, and I can say, you know what, hey, I love Zapier, and we love notes in Vivaldi. So what were you saying now?
Where they've missed the mark is being able to share that note with a fellow collaborator, a collaborator, sorry. So emphasis, I put it on the wrong syllable.
You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it does. So I think they missed the mark there, but again, I'm actually gonna go ahead and give it a full dinosaur, but I did want to call out that one thing. I don't really think that a browser really totally lends itself for collaboration.
Right. So that's why I think we're going to, in the future, I think I'm going to have to change up collaboration just a little bit, because it doesn't necessarily always apply to every single app that we're looking at. So, yeah. But for this, you know, we'll keep it because it is one of the categories that we have set up right now. And so we both give it that dinosaur. But with a note, right? Like with a notation.
Yeah, so with an asterisk.
Yeah, it could be better, right? Yeah, okay. So learning curve. I'll let you talk about learning curve.
So
we can bounce back and forth with the screen share if you want to screen share.
I don't need to at the moment. So I'm going to say, as far as learning curve goes, you've obviously been using the product a heck of a lot longer than I have. I it had not even come into my consciousness until last week when we decided to use this product. And when I downloaded it, I started poking around like I typically do when I am looking at apps. And I'm relatively methodical, but I'm also very haphazard. So a little bit of both. And I have to say that
I'm haphazardly methodical.
I'm haphazardly methodical, yes.
Or maybe, you know what, if you're haphazardly methodical, I'll be methodically haphazard.
There you go. I love it. So I'm writing this down so I can remember that I'm methodically haphazard.
You know,
okay.
I think you were haphazard. Okay, anyway, I'm just kidding. Go on.
All right. So what I really found is that I started keeping a full slate of notes on, for the review, and everything that was, oh my God, it doesn't do this. Oh my God, it doesn't do that. It was just that I couldn't find it easily. So I'm going to say that the learning curve, there's a little bit of an explanation here. So everything that you wanted to do, I had aha moments, I had all kinds of things, but I think it's poorly organized in terms of where things are located. Obviously, they have a settings area in the program. Okay. If you'd like to share the settings, which are down on the little spoke wheel or the wheel down at the bottom on the left.
Gear icon kind of down here.
Gear, thank you. Yeah.
Down here in the bottom left.
That's a lot of settings. I would have expected that things like importing your bookmarks would be in there like it is for most other things. But come to find out, there's actually also a little hidden menu. So they have menus for here. And Stacy, you're on a Mac, I'm on a PC. So on the PC version, actually, if you want to switch to share my screen just real quick.
Well, I was just going to say, so this is I just want to point out, this was something that I couldn't figure out how to do. I couldn't figure out how to import my browser. My bookmarks. And so because I kept looking to the settings to do that, because it just seems like that's where it would be, because I want to set up my browser or my bookmarks. And so you're the one that told me that it was in the file menu in import and export. Quite frankly, it didn't even occur to me to look to see these menus. It just never even
and this is one huge difference between the PC and the Mac version, is that the menu is actually hidden on the PC version, where on the Mac it's very obviously there.
I'm done screen sharing, so you can screen share yours.
Yep. So here's the PC version. It never would have occurred to me that it was right there. Yeah. So it took me 30 minutes to figure out how to import my bookmarks. And it is literally file, import bookmarks. So
yeah, once you find it, it's insanely easy, but I wouldn't have found it if you hadn't told me.
Right. And I stumbled across it accidentally because I'm old school Windows, and I went over here to actually close the app, to double click on it to close the app, and I found the menu that way. So it was by sheer accident that I found it, and it opened up a bunch of other settings that I really think should be in the settings app.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm going to say is the settings app, or the settings module, feature rich. Anything you want to do is there. And then, and Stacy, here's the other thing that I stumbled on, and it took me a couple of hours into learning this program. This is built on the same open source as Chrome. So here's my favorite feature of this program, because all I kept thinking is, I'm going to miss my Chrome.
Wait. Is this your wild card?
This is my wild card.
Okay, so we're jumping to wild card. But you didn't give me your sign. We can't go to wild card until you give me.
All right.
Meteor or dinosaur?
So I'm going to give it a half and half. And
okay, so one of each.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a half and half. And the reason that I'm doing that is because everything that you need is there, and then some. And it's easy. It's mostly easy to figure out. I'm going to say 85% easy to figure out. Most everything is explained well. It's organized nicely, except for the stuff that's in the weird menus that should be in the other place.
Yeah, and I'll agree. I'm giving it a dinosaur. I'm giving it the same thing. So basically, like half. I mean, it's going to be like a half a dinosaur.
Right.
But the reason is just it's not because it's bad. It's not a bad thing. It's a browser. And so how long did it take? It took me a few years to figure out all the ins and outs of Google Chrome. So it's a very feature rich, just like learning QuickBooks. Like it takes you forever. You're not gonna, but I have to give it a dinosaur. I'm gonna delete it and I'm gonna say I'm giving it a full dinosaur, because you can, like, my kind of standard there is, can I be up and running with this and be using it in 15 minutes? And I was. So I didn't give up on it in 15 minutes. I kept it installed on my computer for a year until I uninstalled it, and then I reinstalled it for this. And the reason why I uninstalled it was because I didn't have the latest update. Once I installed the latest update, it's super badass. So I'm giving it a full dinosaur for learning curve. Are you still giving it like half?
I'm giving it half and half just because of the disorganization, and I think that most people won't recognize that there are additional features that they really need.
Yeah.
Hidden in other places. So I think, but I am going to give a couple of shout outs to the creator of Vivaldi. They have a very amazing website which really spells out things. They also have.
I was just going to say, like, the learning curve. One of the reasons what I was going to say, and I don't mean to interrupt. I mean, I do, but I apologize. The reason why I decided while you were talking and was basically they have a really great community. There's it's called the Vivaldi community, and if you want to go show that, you can pretty much go search for. I mean, it's a great support site. So
I think
that's why I'm giving it my full.
No, I don't have it on my start page.
I can show it.
It's all yours.
So yeah, so it's I just was really impressed with much of this. So if I go over here and I show my panel and I go to my bookmarks, they basically automatically put what's called on speed dial, right? They have this thing with speed dial, and they give you. It's kind of like if you open up a blank page, you can have the speed dial show up if you want. But they have the Vivaldi website right on speed dial. And they also have the Vivaldi community, and those are default bookmarks for you when you first download this. So it takes you right to the blog. There's forums. I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can do. You can download, like right now I'm on, this is the latest stable version, which is 1.4. You can download the next one and kind of test it out if you want. Because I had such issues with the last unstable version, I'm going to stick to this one because it's working. And when there's an update, I'll download it. So it's really just I got to say, learning curve, I'm giving it a solid dinosaur. And it's because the support site is really amazing. So before we get to wildcard, because I think for wildcard, this is where you and I are going to go just shitballs crazy, like showing the features of this app. I want to get through the rest of them. So like pricing, I'm just giving pricing. It's free.
Hang tight 1 second, because there's something that I want to add. What you've talked about, the bookmarks bar. There was a hidden feature in the bookmarks bar that I think is life altering for people like you.
Okay, that's fine, but let's get to we got to get through our categories.
We'll do the categories first.
Okay, so let's get through the categories and get through our rating. So for learning curve, you're still giving it half.
I am
one of each. Okay. Pricing, I'm giving it a dinosaur. It's free.
Yeah, giving it a dinosaur as well.
Platform, I only tried it on my Mac. I don't know if it's available for mobile. I didn't even look, I'll be honest. I don't, because you can download Chrome, and I mean on my phone, I never use Safari. I'm always on Chrome. So I don't necessarily, I don't know if there's a mobile version. Did you even look?
I didn't look. I can't believe I didn't look. That's so shocking, because that's normally one of the things I do look for.
Right, I didn't even look, but I found that it works perfectly on a Mac. You found that it works great on a PC, on a Windows computer. Windows. I don't know why I used air quotes for that.
I know, like drivers when we saw that sign.
Right. Drivers. So basically it works, it's very stable on a Mac and a Windows computer. So I'm going to say I'm giving it a dinosaur for platform because I don't necessarily need it to work in a browser. I mean, on my mobile, because most like mobile devices have a built-in browser that you can use. So it's not necessary. Plus, when you guys see us go crazy with the wildcard and just showing you this browser, I don't know how much of this is actually going to like really translate into a mobile. I mean, it's not half of the stuff. I don't care if I get it on my phone.
Right. And
right?
I'm kind of the same way. I'm going to add one quick thing to platform that I really, really loved. And oh my God, I just forgot what it was. It just went right out of my head. I'll think about it in just a second. Yeah, we'll come back.
It'll come to you tonight.
Yeah. While I'm at dinner, of course.
Yeah, or like as you're nodding off to sleep. So I'm looking actually to see if there's a mobile. They've already mentioned that this is from, last year. Mobile is in the works, and this is from April of 2005.
Oh, I know what it was.
Yeah.
So platform, one of the things about platform that really kind of pissed me off about, because I actually really like Firefox, but one of the things that makes Firefox unusable for me is that I can't drag and drop documents in Google Docs. So one of the things that I really like about Vivaldi is it gives you the ability to mimic other platforms. It gives you have the ability to control basically the operating system that is Vivaldi by saying give access to these links from your desktop so that you can drag and drop them.
Okay.
That was life altering for me, and that made me actually turn this into my default browser. Okay.
So you have a whole bunch of wildcards. I think wildcard, we both just, it doesn't matter because we both have a bunch of stuff to show for wildcard. And I think the wildcard is just the freaking browser itself and all the stuff that you can do to customize it. I'm straight up giving it for my wildcard. I'm giving it, and my wildcard, I'm going to show you in just a second. My wildcard is specifically the stacked tabs, is being able to stack tabs. So I'm giving it, and then I'm going to demo the stuff that I really like about it, and then I'm going to throw the ball to you, and you can do it. So if you have to pick one thing that's your wild card, what is your one thing, and are you giving it a dinosaur, or are you giving it a meteor, which I think I already know what you're going to give it, but I don't know what feature.
So my feature is the web panel.
Okay.
And I'm giving that a dinosaur.
Okay. So basically, we've got our ratings down. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. You're giving it a 4.5 out of 5. So let's get on to what I love about the wildcard. So what you guys, so just so you see, these are the settings that I'm showing you right here. I say this, but really I'm trying to indicate what's on my screen. So these are all the settings, and the wildcard for me is the stacked tabs. What you can't see is I have 3 pages of QBO open over here. So if you look, I have QuickBooks, the home page. I have the bank feed open, and I also have the customer tab. These are all individual tabs, but what I've done is I've stacked them. And I can hover over this, and it shows me each one of these, and I can choose which one I want. If I just hover over this tab with my mouse, and I can say I want to go to the bank feeds. Oh no, I want to go over here. This right here is what made me lose my mind when it first came out, because I thought this is brilliant. Because I don't have to have, when I'm working in QBO, I have so many different tabs open. I usually have 2, 3, sometimes 4 different tabs when I'm working in a client file, because I'm doing different things and I need to look at things and I need to see this report and I need to see the bank feed and yada, yada, yada. Basically, now I can I can have them and it doesn't take up so much real estate on the top of my screen, right? So I have all those tabs open. So how do you stack these tabs? I can, let's say I open a new one. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to open up, and you can see my browser, my URL is down at the bottom. So I'm typing in, I'll go to my vendors. I happen to know, maybe it's not. So hold on. We'll just go to QBO and we'll pick one. Okay, so we'll go to clients. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. So basically now I have my customers open. Maybe I go over to reports. So I have all my other QBO tabs over here, and I have this one right here, and I want to stack them. So I'm going to right click on this tab, and what I'm going to do is first of all, let's remove them from the stack tab. So first of all, they're all separate, right? We're going to separate all of them. So I'm going to remove my stack tabs. So I have this QuickBooks here, this tab here, this here. I want them all in one tab, so I'm going to stack them. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say stack tabs by host, which means all of the pages that I have open for QBO are going to watch what happens. I'm going to say, whoop, stack tabs. They're going to, whoop.
Wow.
They all scooch over. Scooch, that's the technical term. They're going to all scooch over. And so now I'll be able to say, hey, here's my home page. Here's my bank my bank feed. They're all right there. They're all separate tabs, but I can still toggle back and forth to them very easily. Now, one of the things about QBO that's really great is I can rip the tab off and move it to another browser. But if I'm working on my laptop, which is an 11-inch MacBook Air, it's a teeny tiny wee little thing. This is amazing, and this is really great. But there's more, because I have over here, you can see I've stacked my 2 Google pages. So I have my Google Calendar and I have my Gmail. But over here, I'm also logged into my YouTube page, right? So I'm logged into the AppasaurusRex YouTube page. Maybe I want all of my Google stuff. I want my Gmail, I want my Google Calendar, I want my YouTube. Maybe I want to open up Google Drive. So I'll go over here and I don't even need to open up the blank page. This is what's great. I don't need to open a blank page and go to that bookmark. I can just double click and the bookmark will just open up wherever I am. So I'm going to go over here maybe, and I'm going to double click. So I've got my Google Drive. I don't necessarily need that. So I've got all these different Google accounts set up, and I want them all in one tab. I can just drag this over and just see how it kind of gets darker, that tab. So I can stack it with these. So all my Google stuff, and I say, oh, yep. So now I have my Google Drive, I have my YouTube page, I have my inbox, and I have my Google Calendar. So all of those pages that are sort of related, all those that we would have in different tabs, taking up all this real estate up on the top, we can consolidate it, and we can put it all in just one tab. So that, to me, I love that so much. And the fact, for a long time it didn't work with QBO. It wasn't recognizing, and I would try to log in, and it was because I didn't have the latest version. And so it works again with QuickBooks Online, and so now I can start using this. I leave, I have to travel this week to go to Cleveland or go to Columbus and Chicago, so I can totally use this now. I can install it on my laptop, and I can use this, and I can save a lot of that real estate that I would normally have to have, many, many tabs open, and I would have to pin the tabs to shrink them up, and I don't like doing that. So that's I love that. Love that so much, because a lot of times too, I'll have different Facebook pages open. I'll have the business workflow and management group open. I'll have the Stacy K Academy page open or group open, and then I'll just have my regular Facebook page, and so I can kind of scooch them all into one tab. So I'm going to stop gushing, but that's what I love, love, love about Vivaldi. That's my wild card, is being able to stack those tabs. And it's really easy to unstack them. I mean, you guys saw it. Just right click and I can remove one tab from the stack, or I can ungroup the whole stack if I need to. It's pretty cool. And look at this, and you can tile it too. I forgot about that. So you can tile it. So you can have them all open in one freaking screen.
I love the options that they have when you right click. So I think.
But do you see this? This is 4 different browsers in one screen.
Yeah, that's.
So I can do whatever I need to do. This is this is amazing. So when you don't have multiple monitors when you're working on QBO, this is a life-changing thing to be able to tile those tabs. Like I waited to the last, like this is like the moment right here. So, and then when you go into QuickBooks Labs and you turn on that, if you go into the collapsible left nav, if you go to the gear icon and you go to QuickBooks Labs and you turn on the collapsible left nav, look at all the real estate. Now I'm going to have this tiny little screen while I'm traveling on the airplane, and I'll be able to open up 4 different web browsers all at one time and be able to do what I need to do in QBO. This is amazeballs right here. Like this is freaking amazing.
That's got to be life altering for what you do. That's it shocks me. Yeah. My thing, just to add on a little bit, and I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Excuse me.
So you can close the whole tab stack. I didn't even get into that. Like you can close you can close just that tab. You can close the whole stack. You can close the tabs to the left. You can close.
That's what I was just going to say. Oh my God, you can close just the tabs to the left or to the right. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really, you can hibernate it. Did you even check out what the hibernate?
I don't even understand what that is, but I know that I'll love it, I think. So what is hibernating?
You can basically say like, hey, I don't want that to really kind of show up in the foreground. It just kind of, I feel like it just sort of pushed it back.
Okay.
Like, I felt like maybe it wasn't refreshing it. Like it was just kind of letting it sit there.
Because it might be taking up resources to hibernate. So let me show you, there's a couple of features that I really want to focus on as my wild card, as my favorite thing. Plus, I want to gush over them like you just did. Because when you told me that, light bulbs everywhere. I mean, not just one big one over my head, but everywhere. The whole room went, oh, when I realized that I could stack up my Gmail, my G Calendar, my Google Docs, Google Sheets, everything, all in one little area. It's like, oh, this is life altering. Because that's the bane of my existence is, okay, which tab do I need to be in? And I hate that, especially when I'm cutting and pasting. Oh, okay, but here is my absolute favorite feature. This is life-changing for me. So I can't even begin to tell you. So there's times when you're in a web page, okay, whatever it may be. Here's stacyk.net. It's a web page. Let's say that I am reworking something for you. I'm looking at this web page, and oh, I just want to do a quick check of my email.
Right.
They have the ability inside of the program to have a little tiny thing called a web panel. And a web panel is any web page that you want to have a little tiny view of in addition to your big view of your web page. So I can be working on stacyk.net. You see that it resized it accordingly because you do have an adaptive website. Awesome job, you and Jen. But
you know what? I can't take any credit for that. That's all Puckett.
That's all Puckett? Okay. Well, good job, Puckett. We'll have to let her know that she got a shout out on this one tonight. But here's a great use case. So I'm here, but I can watch my email. So in this case, I'm looking at the email for AppasaurusRex. If a new one comes in, it will just show up right there in the panel. I can close it and not worry about it again. I can open it back up. Here's something else that I discovered that, you and I both manage a relatively large group on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So this is my Facebook. I actually haven't been on all day. There's me and Beth Damus from a couple of years ago. Love Facebook memories. But if I go to business workflow and management, our group, I can do whatever work that I'm working on, and I can monitor the group.
Yeah.
So if I see something going on, or if I see somebody posting something that shouldn't, I can take care of it and go right back to what I'm doing.
So here's what I love about this, and you mentioned it to me because I didn't notice it, is that you can't take action in that page, in that panel. You can just see. So you can have it there, but you can't do anything with it unless you open it up in a regular basic.
Right. Now that works that way with Google. I haven't actually tried it with Facebook, so let's see if we can like this. Breathe. Some days you just have to tell yourself to breathe. That gets a like. Okay, that did work. That did work. But if I go to Gmail, and what we're saying about not being able to take action, so I highlight the email, and I want to archive it.
Okay.
Can't do it. Doesn't allow it. I'm clicking. That little click that you hear, yeah, that's not working. So it's just, as far as Gmail is concerned, I'm just using this as okay, I can keep a monitor on it. Do I need to take action on anything? If I'm looking for something, I'll tell you, I'm very calendar driven. So what I loved is, and we don't have a lot of events scheduled in this one, but in my personal calendar, I can just
see your whole schedule.
Yeah, for the day, and it doesn't have all the noise of tomorrow and the next day and the 3 days prior that I'm not in, because I always look at a week view. So it's really nice to be able to see that. I also like to be able to just every now and then, I know LinkedIn is not top of mind with me all the time. So it's nice to be able to just scroll through LinkedIn and take a look at it and see what's going on.
So I want to tell you about Hibernate. I was listening to you, but I also kind of took a look to see what Hibernate was. And basically what it does is it does exactly that. It basically reduces the memory footprint.
Oh, good.
So
okay.
Chrome can kind of, if you have a lot of tabs open, Chrome can kind of be like a RAM hog a little bit. And so basically what that Hibernate does is it just kind of doesn't use up all the RAM that those tabs would normally have. So that's pretty cool.
Stacy, I want to show what really, really made this. So I talk about these side panels being game changers, but what really made it a game changer for me is when I discovered, and I only discovered it through the community. That's why I'm kind of also sticking with learning curve being half and half,
right.
Because it's not apparent here, but you can use Chrome extensions in Vivaldi. So everything that you normally use in Chrome works in Vivaldi. Exactly the same way. In fact, it's not the Vivaldi web store, it's the Chrome web store.
Right.
You go straight to the Chrome web store, install whatever you want to install. It works exactly the same. Now, I looked into that to just kind of look under the hood and see what was going on. Chrome is open source. So that means anybody can write into it and use the APIs to push new things to it. So that's why it's got such a big series of extensions and apps that plug into it. Vivaldi is also open source. They're both Linux-based open source. So Vivaldi is just taking advantage of other people's development and saying, basically, you don't have to create Vivaldi extensions and Chrome extensions and Firefox. We're just going to take advantage of all the Chrome extensions that are already in existence.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And I tested 9 different extensions on mine.
Okay.
All of them worked exactly identically to the way that they work in Chrome. So basically, I look at...
Interesting, because I wonder, I have certain Chrome extensions that I cannot live without, and so I'll have to test those out.
Like which ones?
So my Boomerang for my Boomerang for Gmail, my Boomerang for Google Calendar.
Both work.
The other one that I cannot live without that I absolutely love is it's called Checker Plus for Gmail.
Yeah, you're a big fan of Checker Plus. I'm not.
I love the Checker Plus because if I'm working on something, it's basically the equivalent of your web panel. So if I am working on something, Checker Plus will let me know when an email came in, and I can see it, and I can either just archive, without even opening my email, I can archive it immediately, or I can delete it. I can reply without actually opening up my email. And what's cool is if I need to kind of focus on something, I can put a do not disturb on it for an hour or for the day or for whatever it is. And then I also have a Checker Plus for my calendar, because I'm not a big fan of the way that Google Calendar notifies you. Like, it's either like a little pop-up that shows in the bottom of your screen, or you have an email. And so with Checker Plus, it's something that, it's like a window that pops up in front of your face. And then I also love my Pocket extension, my Zoom extension. I use HelloSign, and then my favorite extension is not very. It doesn't help with productivity at all. It's called Color Tab, and so every time I open up a new tab, it just gives me a new color palette, and it's just easy to look at.
I love Color Tab.
Color Hunt.
I did not use Color Tab on this one, but I did test the productivity ones. I tested Minimalist, which we reviewed last week. I also tested Boomerang Calendar and Boomerang, and they work beautifully with no issue at all.
Nice.
I actually couldn't find an extension that didn't work the way it should work. So that to me said, I am turning this into my default browser, and I'm moving away from Chrome. And I cannot believe I'm saying that publicly, because I am the biggest Chrome gearhead that ever walked. I love everything about Chrome, and I love this more.
That's pretty crazy. I'm just gonna say that's a little crazy. I do want to show one other thing.
And so do I. There's another one that really made my day that
I just totally stole it from you. One of the things I want to show is, so I'm a big fan of different colors. So if you were to look at my Google Chrome users, each one of them has a different color theme. That's the one thing I didn't check on this, is if you can have different users. Because I rely on Chrome users so much. I don't know if you can use that here.
So remember when I said earlier that I had, when we were talking about bookmarks?
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't found a way to create a secondary user, but I have found a way to create a secondary bookmark bar.
Well, you can create different folders, but hang on one second. So with the themes, so if I go to settings, you guys can see I have settings open here. One of the things that Vivaldi does by default, and it's, unless you, this is the kind of thing where I had to search for it, which wasn't, it took me like 2 seconds to figure it out. So obviously I started with the hot pink theme, right? And then I edited a little bit. So right now I just named it New Theme 1. You're going to want to click the little pencil to make this stop, because it can be kind of annoying, but it's also kind of cool because it differentiates what you're doing. So by default, when you install Vivaldi, what happens is, and I'm going to show you how this works, this is turned on. So whatever theme you choose, the accent color from active page is automatically turned on. So whatever theme you choose, you can see here that accent color from active page is set up by default. I want to do new theme, but if I leave this and I say, okay, go ahead and we'll save this, and I'm going to put this new theme on, what happens is now if I go over here, let's say I go to QuickBooks.com. So you can see it should pull up the different, it's pulling up, it changed the tab color to green because it's pulling the color from that page. If I go over here to say, let's say we go to Facebook, right? So I'll go to Facebook. So my theme is a red theme, and it should change my tab, but what it does is it will change the tab colors depending, see, so it changed it to blue. So if you don't turn, right, if you don't turn that off, it can be a little, I found it very, very distracting because I set my themes different colors for a very specific reason. And it's so I know where I am because I'm so used to using Chrome. And so this really threw me off, and I found it very distracting. So if I go to Gmail.
I actually would like this if the tab stayed the same color as you were working, because then visually you would know blue is Facebook.
Well, it pulls it up. I mean, if I go anywhere in Facebook, it's gonna pull that different. It's gonna stay the same because it's pulling it from the website. So the color stays the same. I mean, I can go anywhere.
No, but it's only that color if it's active. So if if it stayed blue and QuickBooks stayed green and Gmail stayed red, that would be. I do like the fact that it just is it goes back to the theme that I've set.
unless it's the active. But what I found is at the end of the day, it was just, for me, it was way too distracting to have that change colors. And so I just didn't like it. So I turned it off in the theme. Like I customized my theme to make it look the way I wanted it, because I can tell where I am. I mean, I know where I am because it's gray. The active tab is a different color. So it just, to me, it was very distracting. I was going to one site, it kept turning yellow, and I kept going to Gmail and it would turn red, and I couldn't figure out why it was turning colors. And so it was just a very simple search on the forums.
And that explains why I said to you this morning that my blue theme is red. I couldn't figure that out to save my life.
Yep. So why don't you do your screen share? You show your last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. I mean, we could spend hours talking.
Oh, we could definitely spend hours and hours on this. So this is one other thing that really impressed me. So one of the things that I really love about Chrome is that Chrome is the only browser that you can really just set up a bookmark bar that has favicons and no words. Okay, that's actually an option here. So in Chrome,
you can do Chrome.
No, I know Chrome. You can do that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, in Chrome, when you drag it to your bookmark bar, it always still brings the name with it, and you have to edit it and take the name out.
Yeah.
There's an option in here to where when you add something to your bookmark bar, it just makes it an icon, or you can make it icon and text, or just text. And it does it automatically, and you don't have to do any editing. So this bookmarker, let's put this up here, because I don't have I don't have the QBO show bookmarked. I know, new thing. So if I drag it over here to bookmark it, it just puts it in as an icon. And I love that.
You can set, that's a preference, right?
That is a preference, yes. And I think it's one of the preferences that's not in the preferences area.
Oh, yeah, right. And see, that's what I love, because if you look at if I were to share out my actual bookmark bar for my Stacy K Chrome user, there's so many bookmarks, none of them have, it's just the icon.
Right.
Icon or whatever it's called. So that is pretty cool that you can default, because when I do add it in Chrome, I have to delete the name.
So I do want to go back to one other quick thing before we wrap, and that is talking about, I know, right? I'm that guy. I can't stop. And coffee in the afternoon. So you were talking about users, and I was looking for a way to do that. And I love the idea of, the whole point of creating a separate user is really so you can have separate bookmarks and separate stuff. You can just have...
And you can save the different logins.
Yeah, yes, you can save your different logins.
Yep.
You can sort of do that here. It's a workaround that you can choose your bookmark bar to be a specific folder. So right now, and let's hope I do this correctly. No, I'm going to have to go look at, I don't remember exactly how to do it, but I can say choose a different folder of bookmarks to be on my bookmark bar. So I can always have like a demonstration set of bookmarks.
So what you can also do is you can, you can change. So I imported, right? So I imported mine, and I'm going to steal this away, and I'm going to do this, and then we have to end it.
Yep.
So I'm going to steal this away, because what I did for that workaround was I imported. So you can see over here, I imported my bookmarks, and I just created a folder. So I imported all my AppasaurusRex. I could create a new folder for Stacy K. I could create a new folder for, a QBO show, and I can just use those here. I can take them out of imported, and I can just make them their own. They don't have to be imported. If I don't want them, I can just go edit this. I can use it as my speed dial if I need to. I can use it as a bookmark bar. I can do whatever I need to do. So that's what I would do is just create different folders, and then just go here to your bookmarks bar. That's what I love about this is I don't need the bookmarks bar, because I have it over here to the left, and I can resize this, and I have enough real estate, so I can just say, oh yeah, I'm in AppasaurusRex, so I can create a new folder for QBO show. So anyway, here is, I want to do another screen share really quickly so that I can show you our final review. Hang on one second and let me get this up and resize all this good stuff so you guys can see it. So basically, our final score was I gave it 5 little dinosaurs and no meteor. Because you want dinosaurs, because you don't want the meteor, because you don't want your app to go extinct, right?
Right.
So, and Richard, you gave it basically one of each for the learning curve because it does take a little bit to learn. I thought for a browser, and the reason why I got a full dinosaur for me for learning curve is because it has a really amazing support site, the forum, and it's got a great blog. So that for me. So Richard gives it 4.5. I give it 5, and I want to thank you guys for joining us for the AppasaurusRex reviews, the Vivaldi web browser. So peace out, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for having me, Stacy.
Thanks for coming along, Richard. Goodbye.